Hello everybody. So today I'm going to do a different kind of video. So while I was recording my Dracula's Revenge campaign, I got way ahead of schedule, so I did a separate campaign. And I was doing a test run for Mysore to do the Tiger of Mysore achievement, and I ended up getting such a good start that I just rolled with it and didn't bother recording it. So I'm gonna kind of give some tips, I guess, if people are struggling with getting the Mysore start down. So I'm gonna try to break down my start using the timeline, but as you can see, I already got the achievement. It's down here. Yeah. So for the achievement, we basically just need a good chunk of the southern half of India. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the timeline. So at the start, the diplomatic situation I had, at least, and I'm sure this is probably pretty, what's the word? Like, it's gonna happen if you go and load up your own save with Mysore. So this is how it goes. You get rivaled immediately by at least these two guys, which is good, because then you can rival them back and fabricate claims on them, and them being your rival makes it faster for the spy network to build up, which means faster claims. So these guys will also rival each other, and I think Cochin will rival Calicut, which means that Kolathanad will ally Cochin, and then Cochin, or wait, is that right? Yeah, these guys are allied, and then Calicut and Vinad will ally each other. So what you can do is build up spy networks against these guys, get your claim, and then declare on one or the other. I think what I did was declared on Cananor first, and I co-belligerented Cochin. And the reason for that is just to make it easier to take their land, because if you co-belligerent them, the war score to take their land is not doubled. So the first thing is to make your leader into a general, and you ideally want to have, I don't know, 2 or 3 shock pips minimum. You could probably make it just fine without any shock, but you'd really be relying on good rolls in the shock phase. So yeah, just, try your best to get a decent start. You might have to get kind of lucky, but in my case I did. I got like a 2-4 general out of my ruler, so it was pretty easy, but probably was overkill. Then after that, after you have a decent general, then you want to build above force limit. Don't be afraid of taking debt. There's really nothing wrong with some early game debt, especially as a 2-province miner. Once you expand all the way down here, you're going to be fine. All of this land right here, literally every province produces spices, and I think Cananor is a trade center. So you're going to be handing off a lot of this land to your estates, and it'll just make tons of money for you. So anyways, don't be afraid of taking debt. You want to build above force limit. You want to make sure you at least have enough troops to flank this army on both sides. I think you start with 1 cav as Mysore, so just focus on getting infantry. You probably have enough time to build 3, definitely 2, maybe 3 regular infantry troops. Have them, combine with your main army, and just make sure you have enough here. After the initial battle, you'll probably have taken enough losses to consolidate a little bit, and don't do it just yet. You want to shift consolidate, and because or not Cananor, Kolathanad and Calicut are rivaled. It's unlikely that Cochin, who is Calicut's, God, I'm confusing all their names. It's unlikely that Cochin will get military access through Calicut because of the rivalry situation here and the likely rivalry situation between both of them. And Vijayanagar should be hostile towards some of these guys, which means they won't give them military access as well. So you'll be able to take Kolathanad by itself, should be able to stack wipe them pretty easily, especially with the numbers situation. If you just flank them on both sides, you're going to wreck them. So, anyways, you take them out, you have one badly damaged troop, try to just hold down the fort so they can't train any more troops. Then you can declare a conquest war on Calicut, and after you have your one really badly damaged troop here holding down the fort, you have the rest of them go and stack wipe Calicut. Because they're two separate wars, the AI is unlikely to join in on the battle, so you'll probably have free reign just to stack wipe Calicut, and Cochin will just be here. And because Vinod probably doesn't have the morale up, they're not going to move into, well, they can't move anywhere because they technically don't have military access to Cochin or Vijayanagar too. So then you leave one badly damaged troop here, and then you go and fight Cochin. So basically, as you can see, you just kind of take one at a time, leave one really badly damaged troop there, do the same here, do the same here, and then you're going to do the same here. So the first goal you should have is to try to take some coastline. So you want to focus on, once you've beaten all of the armies, you want to make sure you have Kumari sieged because it doesn't have a fort. Then you're going to, if we take a look here, see who my first conquest was. So I went for Cochin first, which kind of doesn't make sense because we don't have any border with them, but either way it doesn't matter. So if you can get Cochin first, that's what you want to do, because they have Madurai as they're all in the same sea tile, so you can fabricate a claim on them. While you're dealing with all of this, you want to try to get Madurai before Vijayanagar goes for them, because they have a ton of cores. So you want to declare a conquest war with the goal of vassalizing them, because of all of the cores. I think it goes from here to there, and this is a good chunk of development, as you can tell by the city graphics. These are pretty good right there. Also really good for trade. So yeah, so you go declare here, which pulls in this. Take one of them at least. You want to get some form of coastline. If for some reason this was a bug, I don't remember the mechanics for getting things like this that don't directly border you. Maybe it's just because it was in the same war. Yeah, anyways, so if we advance this on a little bit longer, you'll see, so I go to Cananor, so that is the end of this first war. And then after that, I get Vinod and Calicut, and then here's where Madurai is a vassal. So now we are at peace, and now that we have all of this development, we look a lot better as an ally, and I think the best option right off the bat is to get Bahmanis, because they have cores on the coast right here. It's also probable that you could get an alliance with Orissa, and in this patch they tend to wreck Bengal like right off the bat, so they're usually pretty good looking, but it's really up to you. I would prefer Bahmanis just because they're closer and they tend to be more useful in the long run. And also, Orissa has a ton of vassals, so they might not have the diplomatic relations to actually get you as an ally. So yeah, just be aware of that. So anyways, back to this strategy. If you're going to have one badly damaged troop on each of these forts, you'll see that you're going to need at least 3, and then the rest of your army will be able to focus on a siege somewhere. Just be unafraid to take a bunch of loans if you have to get some mercs, because you're probably going to run out of manpower because this is all tropical jungle terrain, so the attrition is absolutely god-awful. So just be ready to be in debt for the early game, but then as soon as you get all this land handed off to estates, then you're pretty much golden. You're going to make all of your money back pretty quick. But then, after that, once you have all this consolidated, you have Madurai as a vassal. Then we turn our gaze to Vijayanagar, and with Bahmanis's help, you want to just be paying attention to their situation over here. For some reason, they lower autonomy a lot, and this was kind of scary. Bahmanis and Vijayanagar were in an early war, which is pretty much what allowed for this expansion to happen. And Vijayanagar had some trouble with rebels over here because they had lowered autonomy like at the very beginning of the game. They had a bunch of noble rebels just like sieging a whole bunch of land down here, so Bahmanis just kind of took advantage over here. And they took some land back. So this made it a lot easier to get them as an ally as well, even though I think they wanted this province from us. We still were able to improve. So you want to be improving with them while you're at war with these guys, because the sieges are going to take a while with no real blockade strength on the coast. So, yeah. After you get the alliance, then you wait for their truce to run out, and you watch for mothballed forts, especially here in Jinji and Penukanda. Yeah. And you call in Bahmanis on a province or a promise of territory, and you do a reconquest war for your own cores. So you can see just in one war, this is literally everything I took. And did I give anything to Bahmanis? I don't think I did. But if you have to, just give Bahmanis a province or 2, preferably like the really bad ones that aren't on the coast, so you can make sure they don't get too much trade money. But really at this point, you're pretty solid. You'll notice this province, maybe both of these provinces, I'm pretty sure both of them do, have Madurayan cores, but you want to take it for yourself because you don't really want them to have it if you can have it, because then they're stronger. They could be disloyal, but they're not going to be because you return cores. So, but at this point, you just integrate Madurai, and then you're set really, because Vijayanagar is pretty much destroyed at this point, and you can take the rest of them. If you want to keep the Bahmanis alliance longer, that's fine. You should be okay to do that. But if you want to ditch them and grab Orissa, just make sure that they will ally you in case their diplomatic relations are still too high, that they just will outright refuse to be over the limit. So just make sure you can get an alliance before you try to replace Bahmanis, because they could very easily wreck you. So you just gotta be careful. But then from here, just kind of wait out the truce. There goes Madurai. So now we're one of the, probably the biggest trade company? No. We have the biggest trade power in this node down here, which is I think the Deccan trade node. It's pretty rich, so you're going to be making lots of money at this point. So I took the rest of Vijayanagar and I specifically took everything that Bahmanis borders in an effort to keep them from expanding into my territory, because this is all mine, and you have to back off. So really just focus on sieging the forts, or at least locking down everything on the border with Bahmanis, because they will declare their own war if you are beating Vijayanagar decisively, like I was in this case. And if you just take this, they're not going to they're not going to have like big separate lands. They're not going to have a big old exclave over here. So just literally everything that has a land border, try to get that out of the way, and also make sure you take their cores, because at this point they're not going to like you, and you're going to want to break the alliance. So yeah, then you just kind of deal with that. And let's see what I do next. So another thing to watch out for, whoever is down here, I think is it Candy? Whoever is down here, I don't remember who it is. But Old Ceylon, they will ally Bahmanis. You will be able to rival them. You do not want to rival them while you are trying to get an alliance with Bahmanis, because it will be harder to get the alliance in the early game, and there's really no point, because this isn't all that valuable to you, because it's wrong culture, wrong religion. It's like Sinhalese culture and Theravada for its religion, and it has a religious center in Khat, I think it is. So it's just a rebel mess down here. So you don't want to take this until you're like completely solidified up here. So just don't worry about that land, especially if they're allied to Bahmanis, which they probably will be. So then I took the rest of Vijayanagar, and now we're just like Vijayanagar 2.0. As far as my idea set, I'm pretty sure I actually started with defensive ideas, because the starting national idea for Mysore is one of them at least, is a 10% morale of armies boost, so having another 15 on top of that from defensive ideas, the second one in that group, you're pretty much untouchable, so it's pretty good to go for it. Also, with defensive ideas, you get an attrition boost, so all of your forts are even scarier for the AI, because they just don't know how to manage their manpower very well. So yeah, it's got a whole bunch of advantages. I would take that in the early game at least. Maybe not for your first idea group, but maybe yes, because you really need that early game boost. But just make sure you don't fall behind on Miltech, of course. So then, from there, let's see, is this the point where I backstabbed Bahmanis? Oh, yes, it was. So I also took Golconda from Andhra, I think it was. But Golconda has cores on all of this, which is, Reconquest Wars are great because they let you take a lot of land for cheaper, and less aggressive expansion, less war score. So if you can get vassals with cores, you want to get those. So in this case, it was a good situational thing to grab Golconda, so I released them there, took a bunch of land from Bahmanis all in one swoop. Then I also took some more land. I think I was just trying to keep the borders pretty, to be honest, because at this point you're untouchable, so it's just a matter of having fun with it. So then after that, integrate Golconda, because I got all their cores, and then just 1v1 Bahmanis. I think I also at this point had both Orissa and Jaunpur as allies, because they both rival Bahmanis, which I also did at this point. So I could call them in on favors, but you could also just have Jaunpur in for territorial gains and just screw them over. It would probably work out just fine. But yeah, at this point, it's just, after every truce, go after Bathmanis, take as much land as possible, try to complete your missions if you can. You want to prioritize those. And if you're me, prioritize pretty borders. Keep Orissa and Jaunpur as allies. You do need some Orissan territory by the end of the campaign, but it's only like 3 provinces, as you can see right here. So it's not hard to get that. You can do that like right at the very end. There's that. Took a whole bunch there. And I specifically took all of this land to block off Jaunpur because they want this land as well, but you need up to here for the achievement. So I just went ahead and blocked that off so it would make it easier in the long run so I don't have to fight Jaunpur, because that would have just made it take longer and just been kind of a pain to deal with. So then there's that. And at this point I also had Gujarat as a vassal, just because they have a lot of cores, but it's totally unnecessary. And then I also had Bestar as a vassal, just for the heck of it. And there we go. So that's the end of the campaign. I have all of the stuff necessary for the achievement. It really just comes down to getting that start. Just take as much debt as you need. Make sure you have some mercs on call because you're going to run out of manpower trying to siege down this really attrition-y land. But yeah, if you have any questions, obviously just let me know in the comments if you need any clarification. The EU4 wiki has this achievement categorized as a hard achievement, and I would probably agree with that, although it's mostly just the start. Once you have any kind of foothold in India, if you're proficient at EU4, you're gonna be able to make it work. Yeah, thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions, like I said. But this achievement is really fun. I would definitely recommend it. So give it your best shot, and let me know how it goes. Yeah, that's it for now. See you next time. Bye.